Hello, and welcome to the Kink Perspective. My name's Chris. I'm a psychotherapist and consultant. On today's show, I want to embark on a journey with you into the heart of what I think is true BDSM play, exploring the interplay between the physical tools and toys that we use and the power of the mind. Now, understanding this interplay is crucial to everything we do inside of the lifestyle. It is the cornerstone of a fulfilling BDSM experience, as it bridges the tangible with the intangible, the physical with the psychological. Now, by recognizing this dynamic, we unlock a world of sensations and desires that stretch far beyond the realm of the physical. On today's episode, I want to really dive into the appeal of erotic toys. I want to help expand our understanding and their role in the awakening of the senses, and dive into the psychological that makes them sound so enticing. I also want to explore the power of mental stimulation and where the mind becomes the most potent tool in the arsenal of desire and eroticism that truly lies at our fingertips. Now, hopefully, by the end of this show, we're going to gain a little bit of a deeper appreciation for the role of the mind in BDSM and our erotic centers, where this core resides. So without much further ado here, let's start on this journey together. The first thing I really want to talk about is the appeal of erotic toys and how we use these toys in BDSM play. Now, we all understand in the exotic realm of BDSM and the lifestyle, our erotic toys assume a central role as the conduits for desire and pleasure. These instruments encompass everything from timeless restraints and paddles to more intricate devices like electrostimulations, needles, St. Andrew's crosses, pommel horses, anything that we're using to engage in certain scenes or play. These are at the very essence of what ignites the passions and helps us realize our fantasies that make the lifestyle so incredible to us. Now, the appeal here is completely and truly undeniable. They are rooted in their remarkable ability to transform tactile sensations that we face into a vast landscape of erotic exploration. Now, each toy, akin to a unique brush on an artist's palette, for example, or a different color that we might be using, it unlocks a different facet of desire and sensation. So, for example, like a Wartenberg wheel, feeling the sensations of the pin needles brushing across our skin compared to a paddle where we're doing impact play, and the sensation of warmth and pain that are intermixing from doing rope play where we're talking about suspension and pressure points. All of these things create a mesmerizing experience that captivates and enthralls each one of us, from the dominant to the submissive, from those who are voyeurs to those who are the exhibitionists that are putting on the demonstrations perhaps, and for those of us that are watching. All of us that are BDSM enthusiasts find an exquisite array of options at their disposal, each crafted to cater to a unique facet of the human desire and sensation that we want to embark on. And there is no shortage of toy makers or toys that we can draw from. Some of us don't even have to go to the very expensive lengths. We can even local hardware stores, because this is where eventually later on in the segment I want to get to, or the show I want to get to, about the mind. Now, if we consider this, the timeless allure of restraints, for example, can evoke a sense of vulnerability and anticipation, longing, maybe even sometimes fear, making them a true cornerstone for many of our BDSM encounters that we take part in. Now, meanwhile, the more intricate tools like electrostim add a dimension to the experience that blends the physical sensations with psychological intrigue. What sets these instruments apart is their ability to transcend the physical while creating a profound portrait of pleasure that is much a product of the mind as it is our body. Now, as we go deeper inside of our lifestyle, as we start to unwrap and explore, The appeal of these erotic toys continues to be an essential aspect of its allure, transforming all of our fantasies into this tangible aspect that creates these unforgettable realities that we take part in. Now, if we look at the sensory aspects in psychology here, the allure of these erotic toys in BDSM transcends merely the physical sensations themselves. It delves into the profound areas of sensory perception and psychology, making it an aspect of the lifestyle that's quite crucial to us. If we look at it this way, when a blindfold shrouds our vision or restraints stop us from, and they encircle our wrists and our hands, maybe even around our body, these things tap into the anticipation of the unknown. It creates that vulnerability for us, and we are now in an area of profound trust that lies at the heart of our BDSM dynamics. The sensory aspects enhance the experience, and they create a unique sensation and emotion that are intertwined between the realm of pleasure and power. For the example of the blindfold, so we've now removed sight, so our mind becomes overactive, our other senses become heightened, taste and smell and hearing and touch. And when we understand that, the mind becomes the place where this grand scene of BDSM becomes envisioned. It's truly here that pleasure, pain, and this delicate balance of power intermingle and create a vast, interwoven erotic exploration for us. And that's truly what we are trying to do for ourselves. From here, if we're now increase where we're using another toy, we might be, maybe doing heat sensations where we're doing cupping, or again, like impact play or whipping or whatever the case may be. All of these sensations are being heightened not only by our physical receptors, but then how we are translating that in our mind, because we can no longer actually see some of these things happening to us. Now, in this world that we live in inside of the lifestyle, it's not just the tools themselves, but the psychological stimulation that they offer that holds the true powerful allure. Now, whether it's an act of surrendering control to a trusted partner, or the anticipation of what's to come, or just that thrill of exerting dominance responsibly, the psychology of BDSM is as much a part of the play as its physical sensations themselves. The choice of a particular toy isn't so much necessarily about the item itself. It can be, but more so, it really is about the headspace it creates. These psychological intricacies enrich the BDSM experience, and they make and create and expand our emotions, and they make trust grow, and it really does start to solidify our power dynamics here. And when we think about that, about enhancing our erotic experiences, we now move into this versatility and ease of use of these tools in enhancing our erotic experiences is where the true magic lies. Now, for the most part, they're not just instruments that we're using. They're extensions of desires and fantasies that we each have that are usually negotiated beforehand. Now, these toys cater to a spectrum of intensity that can adapt to a wide range of preferences and boundaries that we set. Now, whether it is a gentle caress of feathers, perhaps, or the exhilarating sting of a whip, or the sensation of heat, or the tingle of electricity dancing across our bodies, these tools seamlessly adjust to the desires and limits of those engaged inside of the scene itself. Their integration into BDSM dynamics is akin to a beautiful choreographed dance of trust and communication and shared exploration and negotiations and desire and erotic exploration. These vast arrays of sensations and psychology, when they're kind of mixed together with these toys, becomes a collaborative masterpiece where fantasies are given the freedom to come to life. Emotions are allowed to run to deep places that we may never have thought of once before. And the boundaries of pleasure are essentially pushed. Now, in essence, our erotic toys or objects or things we use in the lifestyle, especially when it comes to scenes or playing with somebody, they transcend the realm of mere objects. They are the keys to an enchanting world of sensual exploration. This world's allure is not limited to physical sensations, it is the psychological and emotional journey that these tools unlock that makes BDSM so vast, so universal in their appeal, that they create this captivating world of experiences that we want to take part in. But are we just limited to the toys we use, or does there have to be this mental aspect behind it? Well, in this next part, I kind of want to talk about the power of mental stimulation. So we need to shift the focus here to the role of the mind and the imagination inside of the lifestyle itself. I want to really discuss this profound role of the mind and how, through imagination, the intricate world of BDSM is created in a much larger way. I would honestly argue that without our imagination, the many areas of side of BDSM probably wouldn't exist unless somebody would have thought them up. A few weeks ago, maybe, I don't know, a couple months back, I talked about a scene involving a burial. I've discussed here other things about lifestyle or how people enjoy rope. None of these things would have taken part unless somebody's imagination that was captivated by this lifestyle would have thought something along these realms up and then started their exploration. The same can be said about many things, even psychology. We don't go into worlds or start asking questions or think a type of therapy, for example, without trying it out to seeing if it works. So there is some similarities there. Now, while the physical elements of the BDSM are often the most visible for us, it's crucial to emphasize the significance of the mental and emotional aspects that we encounter and take part in our side of our lives inside of the lifestyle that sometimes we often neglect to think about. The mind serves as a potent canvas where our desires, our fantasies, and trust intermingle to create a unique and vast fantasy of intimacy and intensity that we want to explore. Now, in BDSM, it's not merely about the physical acts, but it's also the psychological aspects that add layers of depth to the experience that each one of us encounters as we live our lives inside of the lifestyle or as we take part. Now, the power dynamics, the thrill of the anticipation, and the intricate, dance, I guess you could say, of trust all originate and start in our minds. It is the place where fantasies are created and the desires take root, become these powerful drivers in the realm of BDSM and eroticism. The psychology behind these encounters is as captivating as the physical sensations themselves, making it an essential to shift our focus to this often underappreciated facet of BDSM play. And I'm really now getting into the point where I'm talking about the intensity of mental arousal. Now, as we take a deeper dive into the lifestyle, we start to understand it becomes very evident that the power of the mental arousal can be equally, if not more intense than physical stimulation. And how do we see any of this? Well, when we first meet someone and we're texting them and we're starting to explore each other and we're letting the power of our imaginations run, we are being aroused by mere words, even if the thoughts of the actions that we want somebody to do to us, they are becoming quite powerful in our minds and they're taking root. And we haven't even had some sort of physical interaction yet we're feeling the reactions of increased blood pressure, heart rate, warm sensations throughout our bodies. We might become aroused, sexually aroused. All of these things, these physiological responses, are coming out of what we are thinking about. Now, it is this facet of the lifestyle that often surprises newcomers, but it's cherished by the veterans like myself or others that I know for its depth and potency, and something that we tend to highlight and enhance as we move forward. Now, mental arousal transcends the mere physical realm by venturing into a space where the mind itself becomes the only and sole erogenous zone. And in BDSM, the interplay between power dynamics, anticipation, and trust creates a fertile ground for mental arousal. The act of surrender, for example, the anticipation of a partner's command, or the orchestration of elaborate scenarios can all be incredibly arousing to us, sometimes even more so than the direct physical contact. The mind, in these moments, becomes the epicenter of desire, painting vivid fantasies of intimacy and excitement. It is a profound and psychological journey where the boundaries of pleasure are pushed by the power of the imagination and the emotional connection we have. Now, how do some of these things shape inside of intense mental stimulations? To illustrate some of this, the intensity of this, one might consider scenarios where a dominant partner, through words or gestures, even written communication, teases and tantalizes their submissive, like I was talking about earlier, maybe through text or even email, leaving tasks for the week. With each command, a tantalizing mix of excitement and submission washes over somebody. The mental anticipation is palpable, creating a heady cocktail of desire that doesn't necessarily require a single touch to manifest its intensity. In this dance of our minds, the dominant's ability to take control solely through verbal communication showcases the potency of the mental arousal. The submissive's willingness and desires to be led by the imagination of their partner becomes a source of profound arousal itself. It is a testament to the incredible intensity that the mind can conjure in the world of the lifestyle, reminding us that the power of thought and anticipation can be as electrifying, if not more, than the touch of physical implement that we may use later on in the scene. Now, the aspect of BDSM is a vivid demonstration of how the mind's labyrinth enriches and livens this total combination of everything we're feeling. And it takes us on this big journey of pleasure and intimacy. So, how do we find this balance between toys and mental stimulation? Well, that becomes a different issue and a different art, if you will. Now, if we look at this, the art of achieving a harmonious balance between the use of physical tools and engagement of the mind inside of our lifestyle doesn't take that much. It does require, learning and practicing our crafts. The delicate equilibrium here is where the true depth of BDSM experiences is often discovered. It's a terrain where the interplay between the tactile and the psychological becomes this exquisite back and forth. Now, balancing toys and mental stimulation is not as difficult as we make it out to be, but if you think about, symphonies perhaps, it is like crafting one. You have to put each section together to make it work perfectly and in harmony. It's this fusion of the physical and the emotional, where the desires and the boundaries are respected and explored. The mind becomes the compass, guiding the use of the tools that we have and setting the tone for the encounter. Achieving this balance, though, isn't merely about mixing the elements and just throwing a whole bunch of them in. It's about creating an experience that resonates deeply, one where the power dynamics of play and where these dynamics and the interplay, of sensations are perfectly orchestrated between the two. So let's consider some scenarios for powerful and fulfilling experiences. Now, to illustrate the potency of combining both of these elements, we can envision scenarios where maybe a dominant partner employs a mix of the physical tools and psychological stimulation. For instance, a feather light touch with a blindfold heightens the anticipation, followed by the gentle swat of a flogger. Or maybe during an interrogation scene where they're whispering in someone's ear while someone is bound and gagged and maybe even nude in the room, depending on what you're doing, all of these things are the play between the physical and the psychological. The mind becomes the canvas for these all of these sensations that we're starting to experience, and where every tool and every gesture is carefully orchestrated to elicit a desire and surrender from each one of us. It is in these moments where the art of balancing mental and physical stimulation truly shines. And we've seen this if you've gone to demonstrations, if you've even been at dungeon parties where people are putting scenes on, you can see this happening. And especially as their scene heats up, or as their crescendo, they're starting to reach their crescendo of play, you can see their transformation right in front of you. Now, the synergy of these elements elevates the BDSM experience to new heights. It creates a sense of fulfillment that's as emotionally resonant as it's physically gratifying. The narratives that are created in the mind, combined with these sensations that the physical tools provide, forge the bond between partners that truly transcends the ordinary. Now, this balance allows us to become limitless for potential, especially when we talk about exploration. It shapes bespoke experiences that cater to individual desires, and it really and truly deepens the connections between the participants itself. Now, there are some unique advantages to mental stimulation over the implementation of toys, and I'm much more of a fan of using my mind to create a scene, especially when it comes to certain aspects, than using a toy and spending hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars having a arsenal of weapons, if you will, versus what I can think of with my mind. Now, within this balance, the advantages of mental stimulation become apparent. The mind offers limitless potential, and it's free, and it allows us individually to explore the landscape of our erotic, deepest, darkest fantasies and try to bring them to the light. Unlike physical tools, which have inherent limitations, the physical realm knows no bounds. It's a place where the most intricate scenarios and fantasies can be brought to life, and where the boundaries of pleasure are pushed and redefined. Now, compare that to the limitations of physical tools. Mental stimulation offers an ever expansive universe of possibilities. The mind can adapt to unique desires that each individual has, and it shapes the experience to be profoundly personal. It becomes a reminder that the true essence of BDSM not only lies with inside of using some implements here and there, but the richness of our mind that creates this fantastical experience inside of our scenes. And these boundaries become pushed, and as we take our fantasies, they become a space where they are free to flourish and evolve. And this really, I'm not trying to underscore the importance of striking the balance between the tangible and the abstract of the world of BDSM, but I am trying to say that if we really focus on the erotic parts, when I'm helping couples reconnect, there are reasons why we talk about exercises of romantically staring at each other for a period of time and really looking at each other, because it becomes a connection between the two where our minds get a chance to expand and grow. Now, I kind of want to get to this point where the core of eroticism truly lies in thought. And this, I know, is going to be a bigger plunge into a profound concept that lies at the heart of BDSM. The core of eroticism is rooted in our thoughts and our imagination, and is played out in our fantasies. It is a truth that resonates in every corner of this world that we inhabit, and it highlights the significance of the psychological aspect in creating truly a captivating erotic experience. Now, eroticism is not just a matter of physical touch. It is this intricacy of our desires and our imaginations, our passions. It's in the mind where fantasies are born and our desires take shape, and it creates this realm of pleasure that BDSM people cherish and enjoy and thrive. Now, the concept emphasizes the pivotal role that the psyche plays in the realm of desire, and it reminds us that the most intense and enduring pleasures often have their origin in thought, especially those that precede them. So, how do we find this whole role of fantasies and desires and the psychological aspects? Well, in the world of the lifestyle, the role of fantasies and desires and psychology for us, as far as eroticism, are profound and they are connected. Fantasies are the architects of desire. They're the blueprints upon which all of our intimate encounters are built. They serve as the foundation for the way we are going to lay out our sensations that and experiences that BDSM offers us. Desires, too, are the driving forces that lead us down the path of erotic exploration. Without them, we wouldn't be taking part in the lifestyle at all. They shape the experiences by bringing them to life and imbuing them with the depth that extends far beyond the mere physical pleasure. The psychological aspects here inside of the lifestyle are like, very much so, if we think about it this way, like building a home. Each brick, each beam that we put in adds to the very depth and structure of the encounter we're doing. The power dynamics, the interplay of trust, and the carefully crafted scenes that we all do emerge from the realm of the psyche. The discussion here truly shines a light on the rich and emotional experiences that we partake in inside of the lifestyle, and understanding that, where the mind becomes this blank canvas for us to put on it whatever we are desiring and how we want to play that out and how we can achieve that and how much it excites us and drives us. And when we look at our desires, these become the brushstrokes of this vivid expansion of fantasy and how we want to paint this out. And this all together creates this masterpiece of eroticism. But again, all of this is taking place inside of our mind. Now, through all of this, and I constantly talk about this, the importance of our consent and our trust and our open communication, all of this inside of the mind's erotic potential, it becomes evident the pillars of consent and trust here, especially communication, are paramount of importance. As far as the psychology inside of the realm of BDSM, where these desires and boundaries are pushed, we have to make sure that we're having safe and consensual and respectful encounters each time we are involved with someone. Now, psychologically, consent establishes these boundaries which the mind can roam freely. It's the fundamental principle that distinguishes BDSM from abuse, hurt from harm, and it ensures that all the participants are willing and enthusiastic contributors to their own experience. And the trust becomes this cornerstone of the mind's erotic potential, as it enables individuals to surrender that control, explore those fantasies, and embrace their desires with a partner. And through open communication, this becomes this bridge between desires and reality, and it fosters an environment where needs and limits and boundaries are understood and respected. The mind's erotic potential then flourishes in an atmosphere of trust, of consent, where open dialogue allows us for this deeper exploration of our erotic desires and fantasies. And we have to make sure that we acknowledge these things and we understand these things and how they are the underpinnings of BDSM. And that it's the necessity of these elements to create these experiences that are not only intensely pleasurable, but they are emotionally and mentally fulfilling for us. So as we look and unpack all of this and go through all of these things, I kind of want to slightly draw this kind of all to a close and allow us to really think about the depths of how much eroticism plays more in our mind than it does with a paddle. So it really is essential to reflect on the insights that I've talked about today. And I know I've traversed the alluring landscape of BDSM, and it is an exciting world. I've been thankfully a part of the community for 25 years. And there are quite a few toys, actually there's probably a lot of toys I've never used in my time. but I know and understand the appeal of erotic toys to the profound power of, versus the profound power of mental stimulation. And I've tried here to unveil this delicate balance between these elements and the limitless potential for the mind's canvas and what we can do there. It is worth taking a moment to consider how these discussions relate to our own individual experiences. So, for you, inside of the community, where do you find the richest experiences? How do you balance the tactile and the psychological in your explorations? Now, this reflection here can definitely be a catalyst for deeper and more satisfying encounters that each one of us is after. Especially inside of the lifestyle, our desires and pleasures are both created in two areas. We are the artist and we are the art. Now, before I kind of wrap everything up for today, I want to leave you with some other thoughts. What are, or more so, maybe some more questions to ponder. What are the most profound erotic experiences you've ever encountered inside of your journey, and what made it so captivating for you? And how have you harnessed the power of your own mind to enhance your BDSM encounters? These questions here really can be a starting point for a deeper conversation with yourself, or you and your partner, or even your community, and really give you a point of exploration for your desires and curiosities that will eventually allow you to push the boundaries of your own erotic pleasure. So with that kind of said, I want everyone to kind of understand one thing, that in the realm of desire, the mind is our blank canvas, and our fantasies are the strokes that paint this masterpiece of our most intimate erotic experiences that we're ever going to enjoy and encounter inside of the lifestyle. And that's really one of the points we get involved in this in the first place, is because we are searching for something deeper and more profound in the life that we are already involved in, but something seems to be missing. So I'm going to post a couple of questions here on social media. I'll post them up. I'll post a question here to Spotify as well. I really want to hear what becomes more, I guess, for each, maybe some different individuals. What do you think? Are you finding more sensation out of the implements you use, or are you finding more pleasure out of the excitement of your mind? Where does it sit for you? So I know I've covered a lot today. I'm going to kind of let you all chew on that. Yes, I am working on, I know I keep saying this every week, but I am working on the edit of my books. I'm trying to get a hard copy out. For those who are wondering, I do have a book available. It's called Tangled Desires, the exploration between BDSM, or the intersection between BDSM and psychology. It's available wherever you get your ebooks. If you please like and subscribe, follow, yada, yada, yada. We all know how to do that. If you follow me on Spotify so others can find it, can you please rate the show 5 stars so I can keep getting this out to more and more people? Be greatly appreciated. Until next time, everybody, be safe, stay tuned.